Good morning, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, and the unsures. It's a great day. It's a blessed day. I'm glad to be back with you. I took about a week off or so. Been pretty busy, and I couldn't find my headphones to do this. So, like I said, it's great to be back. Got a few things to cover today. I got to give a shout out to one of my commenters on my video. I got a surprise. We're going to talk a little bit about what has and hasn't happened in Virginia, and some partially unnerving news coming out of there too. And finally, we're going to cap off with the impeachment trial that is supposed to be beginning today, and what we might expect and hope for out of that process. Sorry about the lights this morning. Apparently there's a few more people going to work in my neck of the woods than I planned. So to start off, I got to give a shout out to a guy that commented on my last video. We were talking about the stuff going on in Iran with President Trump's decisions, and if you think back, probably don't have to think back too hard to remember that the House of Representatives, primarily the Democrats, through the whole process, I mean, they really almost mourned Soleimani's death. Now, most of us have the common sense to realize that this man was a terrorist, and he's responsible for hundreds of American lives. He's responsible for wounding, to include dismembering, thousands more. And in a moment of opportunity, he was taken out with a very calculated and exacted attack, truly minimizing any collateral damage. So we got this big controversy going on, and something that I overlooked in the video, and I'm glad my buddy John got on here and commented about it. His name's John Talley. We served together years ago, Shaw Air Force Base, South Carolina, if I remember right. We also served in Iraq together, and I mean, he's just a good guy. A little bit younger than me, but really good guy, and pretty bright for all intents and purposes. So if you're watching this one, John, man, it's good to hear from you, buddy. It's been a long time. It's been a real long time, and your comments are always welcome. So with all the controversy going on between the Democrats and the House of Representatives, and trying to tie President Trump's hands, and did he have the right to do that? Did he not have the right to do that? He acted outside of his authority and all this nonsense. My buddy John brought up a very clear and valid point. Remember September 11th, 2001, the day our country and the world changed forever. Right? So, out of that came a declaration that has not been trumped, hasn't been reneged, and has never been put to rest. I want to say it was about on September 12th, 2001, President George W. Bush went before the nation and made an open declaration to war on terror. That's right. He said, I'm declaring war on terrorism. Well, this guy Soleimani, he was a terrorist, a known terrorist. So, regardless of what he was doing by violating his travel ban and being in Iraq, or regardless of whether he posed an imminent threat to by what he was doing there, it really kind of goes out the window, because ever since at least September 12th, 2001, the United States has had an ongoing, continuous bout and open declaration of war on terrorism. That includes acts of terror, known terrorists. So, yeah, it kind of just makes sense that we get an opportunity to kill a known terrorist in violation of his limitations, regardless of whether or not he was posing an imminent risk to anything. Due to our war on terrorism, I think our president acted completely within his realm of authority to take this man out and his co-conspirators that were there with him. So, great comment, John. Great point. Like I said, once again, always good to hear from you, buddy. It's been a long time. I know I got you on Facebook. Don't be afraid to hit me up, and we can discuss more of this. And please, if you have any more comments, like I told you when I replied to you, I do this kind of flying by the seat of my pants because, well, I can't really read anything driving down the road. So I just gotta kind of let it roll off my tongue. So I'll probably miss things. Anybody else, if I miss points or you'd like to make points, throw it down in the comments. I don't get a ton of them. I think I've been able to reply to all of them so far, and I'll try to continue to do that as long as possible. So, anyway, thanks, John. Have a good one. I hope you're enjoying this video. Give credit where it's due. So, moving on then. Let's talk a little bit about Virginia, the VA. All right. So, for those of you that have been living under a freaking rock and don't know what's been going on there, the recently elected Virginia Democratic legislature has been actively trying to all but forcefully take away the firepower of its citizens. And it had gotten bad enough where several counties had declared themselves sanctuary Second Amendment counties, and then politicians say, "Oh, well, no, you can't do that. You can't do that." Oh, well, why not? It works for sanctuary cities for illegal immigrants. All we have to do is declare we're not going to follow this certain set of laws. Well, oh man, I guess what's good for the goose is not good for the gander. So anyway, the great citizens of the state of Virginia have been planning a Second Amendment rally, and here's how fearful the government is. Days before this, the governor of California declared a temporary state of emergency in Richmond. in preparation for this rally, because so many people were going to be coming with guns. I guess he thought that a whole bunch of angry Virginians, rednecks with guns and military firepower, were going to just show up and start blowing stuff up and killing people. Because they had federal police, state police, local police, all of them standing by. They signed a bill stating that guns, firearms were not allowed on the Capitol property, anywhere in the courtyard or anything. They had areas fenced off, police standing by, guards. They were doing security checks to be able to get on the property of the Capitol and everything. So, well, all of this came to pass yesterday. Well, I say all of it came to pass. Really, none of it came to pass. They had a rally, all right. Thousands of Virginians showed up to this rally. Just some of the pictures I saw online. You had people carrying. I'm sure there was a ton of them carrying concealed still. But you had people with like hunting rifles. You had people with military style, high capacity, magazine fed, semi-automatic weapons. I didn't see or hear. I could only imagine that these people probably came for a reason. They were probably locked and loaded. I saw one picture. I think it was a video, but I didn't have time to watch it. I saw one guy with a looked to be a 50 caliber sniper rifle strapped across his chest. I'm sitting there thinking, man, if the governor could have been there. Not that he gets shot, but just to see the look on his face with the firepower, the sheer firepower that was at this rally was mind-blowing. And so there's two things that I really like that came out of this rally. Sorry, I'm going to make that three things. Three things I just love that came out of this rally. Okay, and going up to it, the whole left side was saying how it was gonna be a display of white supremacy. You're gonna get all these white rednecks, anti-black and brown people with all these guns and everything showing up, making a fool out of themselves. That's what we were leading up to. There were a lot of rumors that certain organizations were gonna bus in Antifa members to cause a disturbance, and there was probably a little bit of intel about that. And I don't know, maybe they figured that wasn't the best thing to have Antifa members show up the place where thousands of pro Second Amendment people were going to be gathering at one time. Probably better for their safety. So we didn't have any of that. Quite the opposite, really. Thousands and thousands of people show up for this thing, and I think they made one arrest because some lady was wearing a mask, and to my understanding, she left, took the mask off, went and put it in her car or whatever, and was allowed to come back without it. So they just kind of they were being careful, which I can understand. But out of all these thousands of people, they're protesting and supporting what they believe in, one arrest for wearing a mask. No, absolutely zero violence. No attacks. Nobody was cussing and throwing things at the police officers for being there. They were just there doing their job, trying to keep everybody safe, make sure everything, the situation maintained an even keel. And nobody got riled up. And it was just a day of protest. The second thing I love about it is it not only did the demeanor and the motivation behind this protest completely annihilate the leftist warnings and projected fears of what was going to be taking place. The whole white supremacy thing completely went out the window. You can see pictures and videos. There are all races and nationalities in some form. There was a ton of women and LGBTQ community showed out for this. See, the thing that I don't think they realize is, you know, when you're talking about something like our Second Amendment and our right to carry firearms, which is not a government-given right, by the way, it is a God-given right, and the Constitution of the United States clearly says that. And the Second Amendment is there not to grant us the right to carry firearms, but to prevent the government from restricting that right in any fashion. Okay? You're not just messing with one class of people. You're not messing with one race. You're not attacking one certain religious ideology. You are attacking anybody and everybody in the state or the country or anything else. And hopefully that made it clear to the legislators down there in Virginia, who will probably, based on their track record so far, who are probably just going to fall back and regroup and continue to pass more legislation to try to maybe do this a little bit different way. Maybe they won't change their attack at all. They'll just keep pushing with what they are. Okay. Oh, I said there was going to be three things. So yeah, the third thing is, after this protest, after these thousands and thousands of people showed up fully armed with easily more firepower than what was there to fend them off should anything break out. When they were done, when they left, after all these legislators have done to try to take away their rights and how disrespectful they've been to the American people in Virginia, they were going around and picking up their own trash, and cleaned up after themselves, and they took steps to make it right before they left. Yeah, these are Americans, okay? These are the majority, the silent majority, that are going to be voting this year. These types of people. And these are the types of people that the Democrats and the far leftists that want to pass these laws to disarm the citizens of our country. These are the people that they fear most, is the law-abiding, well-armed true to America's core values citizens that are willing to show up and stand shoulder to shoulder to stand up for what they believe are their rights and their entitlements in the country that they live in, work in, raise families in, pay taxes to, which that's a whole different topic. Maybe do a video just on that. The statement that was made in Virginia yesterday was a beautiful statement. This is America, and this is our country, and we the people will do whatever we can and whatever we need to ensure that it stays that way. So great job down there, Virginia. Excellent job. Now, a little bit more on Virginia's track record. I just want to point out there's been several steps in this, and I might mess up the order on this because I don't have it written down in front of me. So this newly elected group of people the Democratic version came into office and they started talking about this, we're going to take your guns away. All right. So people started rising up at that point saying, hey, you better not. They were going to town halls, voicing their opinion. That's when all the Second Amendment sanctuary counties came into play. And they're like, fine, we're just going to vote you out. Well, the Virginian government, Parliament, decided to get together and they all but abolished voter ID to make it harder for them to get voted out. Which, those of you a little slow on the uptake, that means all the illegals and non-residents, anybody can go to vote. They can ship buses of people in to vote for them. And with no voter ID, all they have to do is just vote, and their vote counts. Okay? So, after that, they said, fine, we're gonna do a petition to you get your butts removed immediately. And so what did the legislators do? Oh, well, they signed a bill requiring a higher percentage of signatures to make that happen. Man. And you know, we've read in the Constitution, most of us have, and if you haven't, you should, about the intent of it and what our responsibilities as American citizens are when a government becomes tyrannical. Now, everybody's got a little bit different definition of this. If the government's sending out people to round people up and shoot them and take over areas by force, it's too late. What Virginia is doing right now is tyrannical. They have pitted themselves, they have pitted the government itself against the citizens. When they're violating rights and changing laws to prohibit the people of that state from doing what is within their rights and responsibilities to do, that's tyranny. Okay, it doesn't get any more clearer than that. Virginia has turned itself into the testing ground for the rest of the United States of America. Rest assured, if the government of Virginia gets away with what they're trying to do, this is going to come knocking on all of our doors. That's just the way it is. It's a test site. It's a test site. They're gonna see what went right, what went wrong. If it works, look out. If it doesn't work, look out for phase 2. I think they're going to fall back and regroup and try to come up with a plan that will work. And we've got to use what we know are our rights to fend that off. All right. So the last thing I want to talk about, supposedly today the impeachment hearing kicks off. And I encourage everybody to try to keep up with that and watch it as much as possible. I know most of us have jobs. We can't just sit around and do nothing. But I highly encourage everybody to stay involved with that as much as possible. Keep up with everything and watch how this unfolds. I don't know how it's going to unfold. Nobody really knows how it's going to unfold. With the lawyer lineup that President Trump has on staff, he's got some good people. He's got some very good people. Alan Dershowitz is a scholar in constitutional law. Some of the other people that he has, I want to mess up their names if I try to go through and quote them all, so I'm not going to. But looking at some of their backgrounds, I mean, he's got some war dogs in there. It doesn't, knowing the backgrounds of some of these attorneys that he has, I'll say this, it doesn't look like they're going to take a purely defensive approach on this. I'll say that much. I would, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, I can't afford to be, I would say that they're going to state their case and then they're going to go on the offense and start pinning some of these people down, like Schiff and Biden's, and more than likely, I'd like to see Pelosi get in there too, and her son. Did a video on that here a couple back. Check that out. So I can't really say, hey, this is going to happen. All I can do is look at it based on the panel that he's chosen and the arsenal that he is going into battle with. I don't see it being purely, oh, I was within my right and this is unconstitutional battle. You've got constitutional defense, Alan Dershowitz, who's not always been a Trump supporter. He didn't vote for Trump. He's never been blatantly outspoken about Trump, but what he is about is the Constitution, and he's maintained that stance for decades now. And he's done a really good job, regardless of politician. He's sought after when it comes to topics of the Constitution and constitutional law. And I think he's about as close to right down the middle as you can get. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, that's kicking off today. I really hope it's very, very offensive. I want to see the whistleblower up there. I want to see Schiff up there. I want to see Pelosi. It's probably a long shot. But I would also really like to see people like John Brennan and James Clapper and see some of that process start coming out, since we are operating off of the Horowitz report, and have all that information now. I would love it if some of these attorneys had information and would be able to bring charges on that. I don't know that that's the setting. I don't know exactly how they would work into that. Man, I wish they would. So, anyway, I better go ahead and close it down for today. Take my butt to work so I don't get fired for being late. But it's a blessed day today. Congratulations, Virginia, on your victory. Shout out to the citizens of Virginia that showed up and did everything right like Americans should. Might not have been what you wanted to do, but you did an extremely respectable job. And God bless all of you guys. I can't imagine what you're thinking you're going through. So until next time, this is Commentary on the Road, and you guys have a great day. God bless you. I love you. I'll see you next time.